All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. I saw already some comments there. Thank you. Yes, this is going to be very interesting because God has revealed some things to me. Not that I didn't know, from being an avid exerciser for many, many years. It's just some things had to be brought back to my remembrance as far as the muscle memory and things like that because of how the devil and his narcissists target our health because they want us dependent on man instead of dependent on God. Because when things happen to us, we have always got to go to God first. Like, what do God want us to do about this if something happened? Now, I understand. Now, if it's severe enough to go. Okay, I'm talking about minor things like, okay, look, a bruise. I think we can handle that. Things like that, or a minor strain. We're no stranger to that. Those of us that played sport growing up, and then those of you who still play sports, you know what I'm talking about. We're not a stranger to that. Oh my gosh, playing street ball growing up with the guys, man, I can't tell you how many times I fell on my bum on asphalt. Seriously, got right back up, got right back in the game. I mean, seriously. Of course, we were a lot younger then, but that doesn't matter. Age is just a number. So as those notifications go out, I want y'all to know that we do have the ability to take control of our health back. Once we realize that everything we experience symptom-wise is radio frequency poisoning and our body's just trying to detox, we need to learn how to let it do it. It might take a little bit longer depending on circumstances and whatnot. I'm going to look at the focus. I think it has more to do with, okay, there we go. I wonder if that's a little bit better. So, because I'm trying to, there we go. Yeah, I think that's might be just a little bit better. I think it's just how the computer is sitting. But anyhow, still trying to improve that for you all. Since we got the HD quality in the software upgraded. So we got that. And since then, I think that really, and then I cleaned the camera, finally. Figured out how to get that nicotine from the old environment, get that nicotine off of the screen there. So anyhow, all right. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat shows, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency for healthier living. That's what it's all about. And when I talk about healthier living, let me tell y'all something. I talked about how I've got a copy now of my late grandfather's, my biological dad's book. I didn't know that he was a doctor, but I'm glad he was all natural, holistic, homeopathic. And it's funny because as I was going through his book today, it ties right into this healthier living side of things because how the devil and narcissists target our health. And he was saying that things like raisins and like certain fruits and things like that are able to be on the table at all times. And it's funny because I went to the store and I got myself some mixed nuts. Okay, there was one that I got. It was a little bit salted, but not bad per serving. Then I got one unsalted. And then I got some dried cranberries. I already had raisins here at the house. And so I had also unsalted pumpkin seeds here at the house. So I made my own trail mix, if you will, in a container that I bought for that. And it's on the counter at all times. And I said, oh my gosh, I mean, it got to run in the blood. I don't know. I have no idea. But I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I really am. I mean, actually, he was adopted, but that's the dad he knows. So he is my grandpa, but he's actually my great uncle. However, I am definitely from that bloodline. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, wow, this is so amazing because that was my thing. And you know how I have a fruit and veggie tray that I constantly, that little bowl. Okay, well, hold on a second. I'm going to get, let me get that picture while I go ahead and talk to you all briefly about how okay, about how the devil does this. Okay, he targets our health using radio frequency poisoning, and then of course chemicals, and oh my goodness, all kinds of things, right? Yeah, he targets our pulmonary system, and that became more clear as I turned my autonomic nervous system into a case study for you all and for me to learn, okay, what is going on with this thing. And I found out that the number one target is our ability to breathe. Why do you think that is? Of course, oxygen. Why? Because oxygen is obviously essential for survival. Food, air, water, oxygen, right? Okay, and so knows that it's essential for life, for survival. So, but he wants to hinder that. He wants to cause things that will trick a lot of people into believing his lies, that something's wrong with them when there's not. See, God designed our bodies so strategically, I say this often for a reason, to get rid of what it doesn't want and doesn't need in excess. But the internal environment has to be in the right condition. In other words, your internal body heat cannot be too high in order for all of that to take place. So, and so that's why the radio frequency, if you've got too much salt inside the body, that's metals, right? What happened to metals when it's exposed to anything that gives off heat? Think about it. These LED lights, if you go and put your hand up next to the LED light, you will feel the heat. You will feel the heat coming off of them things. And it's way more than the heat that comes off of a regular old-fashioned soft white bulb that I'm going to tell you, I have not been able to find any. I've been looking for them around here in this area. Just a regular old soft, it's a non-LED, the regular soft white light bulb. And I was able to find them where I used to live in North Carolina, but certainly not here in Florida where I'm at. I was like, wow, that's really intriguing. And I was like, well, it's amazing. And so I'm going to go ahead, and this is so I can show you all what I'm talking about. Okay. What I do and what I keep on hand. So that you can get a visual. You're going to see things like this again. Okay, you're going to see things like this again, but it just goes to show that when I read my grandfather's little book, I was putting it in protective covering. So I glanced through some of it, obviously. And it's not a coincidence that I'm downloading this out of Canva in another browser, y'all. So thank you for your patience. I wasn't planning on doing this, but it just came up as we were talking about all of this, because it's very important to understand that we can do this. We can do this because we have to take better care of this temple for the Holy Spirit, right? Okay, and yeah. So while that's uploading, because I'm going to show you, we were talking about having, I got the trail mix, raisins, and a mix of nut, balanced out between some that are salted with only 80 milligrams of salt per serving. However, I'm combining it with unsalted mixed nuts. So I mixed them up and that balances it out. Okay, so now per serving, I might only get maybe 30 milligrams, okay? Because I'm balancing out the unsalted with the salted, right? And I put it in a baggie. Now, if you got a mixing bowl, that'll work too. Okay, so whatever your preferences are. I got cashew, peanut, anywho, raisins and cranberries and stuff. But we did that today, and then I come across that in my late grandfather's book, and I was like, well, then, I mean, it's so true. Talk about having those fruits and vegetables, and of course, proteins, animal proteins, and the right kinds of starches. You don't want too much starch, but like rice, that's all right. That's all good. But your potato starches and things like that, you want to be in moderation with that. Now, sweet potatoes are a better starch, and they're also a better carb. So brown rice, same thing. Brown rice tends to be a bit more starchy though, but you can rinse that out after you cook the noodles and the rice. You can, that can be cooked out. But they are a better carb. So it's all about balancing and then, budget and all of that. Okay, what you have access to. But the devil and his narcissists target our health through radio frequency poisoning for that reason, because he wants our body's internal heat to be higher than it should be, because there's a number of things that occur when our body's internal heat is too high. A, you can't think straight. B, you're in a state of constant drunkenness, delirium. Seriously. C, you are far more likely to act and buy on impulse because you can't think straight. D, or number 4, okay, you are more susceptible, okay, to overeating because, like I've said before, we're bringing it all right here, that if your body's internal heat is too high and heat rises, remember that, so it goes to the head. So you can't think straight, and so then you're not able to tell whether or not you are hungry or full. But if you're shopping around 11:30 and they start bringing out the lunch stuff, right? Ooh, that just smells so good, right? Tricks you into thinking that you're hungry when you're not, because, well, you look at the clock and you're like, oh, you've been conditioned to think, oh, it's lunchtime, I must be hungry. No. If you let's say you just ate a nice, a breakfast sandwich or sandwich, whatever it is you had about an hour before going to the store, you ain't hungry. You ain't hungry when they do that. But see, your heat is too high. It'll trick you into thinking that. So that puts that burden on the digestive system, because anytime we put more burden on the digestive system than it can handle, then you're going to get sluggish. But you won't notice that you're sluggish because you're in a state of delirium, like, hey, yo, what's up? Yeah. Okay? You're in a state of heat drunkenness, fever-induced, like Chris had coined it, it's a fever-induced state. Constantly. And exposed to radio frequency that just constantly keeps that heat on the inside higher than it should be. Because it's basically what the enemy does, targeting our health, is it will cook you from the inside out. I came across a thing on TikTok where it says, we're all being microwaved. And I said, well, that's another way of putting it. But we can combat that by making better choices, reducing our exposure to radio frequency. Oh, I got more on that for y'all coming. We got courses coming all about that to help y'all. This is just you could just call this video here a seed planter of things to come, because it's so important. I'm living it to this day, and I'm experiencing it right now, realizing that, whoa, our body's internal heat plays a huge role in the decisions we make and whether or not we can, resist the devil's temptation. That's the other one. That'd be number 5. If your body's internal heat is so high and you get tricked into thinking you're hungry when you're not, it's going to be a lot more challenging to resist the devil's temptation. And so you're likely to go for that, hey, yo, that not good for you, but you're going to go get it anyway because it smells good. And that's basically walking after the flesh. When now what we're doing is intentionally changing that mindset, going, hey, we need to make better choices. So this is what we do in the refrigerator at all times. Now, I switch it up. I don't always have carrot. I don't always have celery. And I found out that I prefer the red grapes, but, that's all good. But this is what you'll find. I have a snack tray just like that. When it starts to get low, I refill it. So anytime in between meals, that's a Tupperware container, okay? I've got a lid that goes over it. And that in the middle is just a little bit of ranch dressing, all right? Just a little bit. And you can see pineapple, broccoli, cherry, tomato, carrot. Those are midnight beauties, grapes, and then celery there. And, right, you don't have to do that. You can switch it up. I mean, you can do watermelon. You can do, I got some watermelon and strawberries now in the fridge also, because the strawberry go with the bananas in my protein shakes. You see? 50 grams of protein right off the bat, first thing in the morning. That's me. We ain't playing. I heard the Lord say he's like, double it up. Because the devil and his narcissists love to target our health through that radio frequency poisoning. He wants to cause symptoms that mimic these ailments out here that are made up. And so, no, that fruit and veggie tray is snacks in between meals. For example, I get up, and if it is a 50 grams of protein a day, it's that protein shake for breakfast. We gear up and get out there and get our walk in. Sometimes I'll have a slice of peanut butter toast with honey and some cinnamon to go with the protein shake. It just depends. But we'll do that. That's breakfast. Then we get back from the walk. We're cooling down, right? We're stretching. Right? We're stretching. And we're cooling down. Right? And we're stretching them thighs out. Stretch, right? About 10 seconds each. Right? Once we're cooling the body down, that's when that vegetable and fruit tray comes out. Because I'm like, man, that was a good walk. I'll be out there for like an hour and a half. Woo-hoo! Muscles are like, I need some food. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's not lunchtime yet. That's when I pull that tray out. And we'll eat on a little bit of fruit and some of them veggies. And that's what we munch on before we take our shower. You see? That way we're not getting into crackers and other stuff that we don't need yet. We're starting the day out with, and we keep that. And then let's say for lunch rolls around and I have, let's say, some low sodium tuna casserole in there. To give y'all an example. Like that's when we pull out low sodium, and the can of cream of mushroom soup was also unsalted. In other words, no salt added. Only 50 milligrams of sodium per serving. So we pull that out with the no salt added tuna, green peas, a little bit of minced garlic. Oh man, let me tell you. Okay? No salt added. Very low sodium meal. We'll pull that out. That's our lunch. And if we so desire, we might slice ourselves a little piece of French bread and put some butter on it and have with that. Just better. All right, give us a little bit of carb protein balance there. Of course, the casserole got noodles in it, but nonetheless. Okay? Then we get to work. We're recording videos. We're working on, building course outlines and all kinds of other stuff. Editing and uploading, recording, pre-record videos. We take a break, feeling a little snack, and that fruit and veggie tray comes on out. And now this time, so does the nut and fruit mix. Boom, right there on the table. All right, that's our snack. Water, and then water all day long. Okay? Water all day long. So I'm giving y'all a little bit of the and more here. Because I got a video clip I'm going to share. See, that's what I'm saying. Test the spirit by the spirit. Who's going to stick around to listen to any of this? Who's going to stick around? Who is really serious about living healthier? I just told you how the devil and his narcissists target our health through radio frequency poisoning. And then also spiking our drink and dragging us down a set of stairs. Like a dummy. Anywho. So that's what happened to me, y'all. Those of you who have been around with that, you know the story. The rest of it's on Patreon. And then throughout on this channel, I give tidbits here and there. And so now, we're good. Because whoever needs this reminder, how do I know that's what she did? Bruises lead patterns, and patterns tell a story. Plus, right, you don't fall down a set of stairs with carpet and not have carpet burn. Duh. All right, now, because I had 0 carpet burn. So anyway, that's the gist of it right there. Okay, just to give you all a snapshot of how healthier living looks. When you do it intentionally and you are dedicated and you are focused. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It's not expensive to do that. To keep a fruit tray at all times. Fruit and veggie tray. Now you can even go so far as to do a fruit tray and a veggie tray. You can separate it however you want. How much water I go through? Sometimes about 4 of these. It just depends. On average 3, but it can be 4. It depends on if I'm going back out. A lot of things, but usually on average 3 of those. So, right. No, it's not over the top to describe combating RF as a war. No, it's not a war. It's a movement. It's a movement for making healthier choices because we have control over that. See, the devil can't, right? He can't control. No, he has no control. He can just, it's us, the choices we make. How many LED lights do I need to stream? How many LED lights do I need to do a video? Right? So it's like making better choices. And then do I need those on when I'm not working? No, I don't need them on when I'm not working. We found that out. And so that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the stairs, well, they were not that narrow. They were your average size stairs. Okay. And well, I do warm up. When I'm in here, before I go walk, I definitely most certainly do. Got to get that going, right? A low impact. I've got my little weights there. And so we do some warm up move and we stretch a little bit, right? We make sure we stretch, right? And then we get our water, our towel, our sunglasses, keys, and we go for the walk. And we walk for however long we can stand it. Okay. So back to, as we were talking about earlier, so I had to give y'all those tips, okay? Because when the body's internal temperature is too high, it hinders our body's circulation. Now, while the devil targets the pulmonary system the most, because obviously that's associated with what? And whatever, sneezing, but yeah, stuff that doesn't exist. Okay? I found that out. It's all radio frequency poisoning symptom. That's all it is, every bit of it. Because if you tell yourself you're coming down with something, then so shall it be. What a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we learn to stop. Wait a minute, hold on a second. How much salt did I consume the day before? That's what I do. If I wake up and I'm like a little stuffier than I usually am, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. How much salt did I consume? What did I eat yesterday? Oh, I had that lasagna. Okay, that'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. I don't tell myself. And then within an hour after getting up and around, boom, it's gone. We good. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And then other symptoms like, well, I know what's going on with me, okay, periodically in this season because of what the Jezebel case study did when she tightened my bra to cut off circulation. I mean, duh. Didn't take me long to figure that out. So anyhow, that was supposed to cause some symptoms that would mimic some sort of illness. And I was like, no, that's just sore muscle, bruising, and air pocket going on there. It'll work itself out, and it is. Oh, it is working its way out. I'm keeping it real. So as that does that, it's just healing on its own. Actually, I can't say on its own. You know what? The Godhead. God and Jesus, they're the ones doing all that. Their hands are on, I told you a long time ago, I said Jesus is on the job. But the body's internal temperature, if it's too high, it's going to hinder that circulation. And there is a part of the body that the enemy targets, right, is the primary target And I thought the pulmonary system was the primary target, which it kind of is, but not really. It's like a secondary primary, if you will. But there is a primary, and I mean primary target in our body by the devil and his narcissist that had a major role in our overall health and well-being. Because what do we need to be able to do? Okay, circulate, right. But what do you need circulation to do? To digest your foods. Because digesting your foods does what? Allows for your muscles and your brain and everything to get the nutrients that it needs, especially oxygen. Right? So you gotta breathe. If you start to feel a little bit sluggish or you're yawning, breathe. A yawn does not mean you're tired. I had the IT girl in undergrad tell me that. I said, that makes sense. I had never thought of it that way, but it's true. Because I'm like, really not tired, but we're conditioned to believe that, that means we're tired. No. That means you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. So stop what you're doing. Take some deep breaths. So let me go ahead and I'm going to show you all this clip here in just a moment. Okay? And she would know. Let me tell y'all something about that. No, she was not strong enough. She was not strong enough. If she was strong enough to carry me, she wouldn't have had to drag me. And so, okay, all right, good. Okay, you overwarmed it. Well, that happened. Like I said, maybe 10 seconds in the microwave. Just, yeah, that's okay. Okay, yeah, you're welcome for that sound visual. All right, and so the devil and his narcissist target, the pulmonary system. I thought that would be like the primary, but no, it's your digestive system. And so I put this together for you all. So here you go. All right, we're going to talk about this goes into the muscle memory, but that's after this. I want y'all to understand why the devil and his narcissist target our health in the way that they do. That hinders our body's circulation. Now, we understand that starts with the. Let me start this over. Okay, I gotta fix the volume somehow. Okay, hold up a second. Okay, hold up a second. Let me do something else here. Okay, hold up a second. All right, I'll try this again. I'm not sure why. This is the first time I'm using this feature, okay, y'all? So I know that when I uploaded it before going live, it worked just fine. As we are discussing how the devil and narcissist target our health with the radio frequency poisoning, okay, that hinders our body's circulation. Now, we understand that starts with the autonomic nervous system manipulation, right, to get it numbed. Now, one more time, y'all. Thank you for your patience while I figure this out. Well, I figure this out because I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to be playing at the very beginning. So I'm gonna try this one more time, okay? Right, and it's the first time using it, so thank you for your patience. Like I said, before going live, I know that the video works. I edit it and everything in Canva, so now I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, all right, second. Give me 1 second. As we are discussing how the devil and narcissist target our health, starting with the radio frequency poisoning, okay, that hinders our body's circulation. Now, we understand that starts with the autonomic nervous system manipulation, right, to get it numbed, but there's a number one spot in our body that is the target for, right, radio frequency poisoning. While it starts with the autonomic nervous system, and then, of course, the other nerves and all that, it starts with that. But there is a spot in the body. Nope, not the brain. So the brain plays a role. Every part of our body plays a role in its normal circulation. But there is the number one spot. God revealed this to me on one of my walks because I realized, when you think about, exercise trainers, right? Yes, workout trainers, you know what I'm saying? And they're always saying, focus on the core, focus on the core. Well, yeah, focus on the core for toning, but that's not the only reason. See, our core, the whole digestive system right here, our core is, it is. It's our balancing system. See, when we've got control of our core, we've got control of balance, right? You see how that works? When you have control, right? You have the locus of muscle control of the core. It's not just your balancing, but it's also the primary system for proper circulation. When you breathe, okay, notice how it affects the core. Not just the lung, but the core. So if you're breathing, but you don't have any control of your core, then there's no circulation taking place here, which means there's circulation throughout your body. I want it right, it's not up to par. I want you to think about an engine. Yeah, an engine, an automobile engine, any kind of engine, right? It has the cylinders, right? And you got to put oil in them suckers. Yeah, you got to put oil in that engine. Yeah, because that's what keeps all the parts moving, right? All those parts moving. You turn that key to start that engine, and all right, you get everything rolling, right? And that oil lubricating all of them suckers, little parts, the cylinders and things in there, right? Okay, that engine is the primary system for that car to go anywhere. Right? There you go. Our core is the primary system. Our core is our body's engine. Think about that. Okay, if our core, right, if we don't have control of our core, meaning we have locus of control of the muscles here, right, to be able to breathe. So each time we breathe, when we have that control of the engine, then proper circulation, right? Proper circulation can occur. Because without that, you're pretty much, what'd you say? Oh, and then your body's internal heat stays too high. You don't know when you're hungry versus when you're full. So you tend to overeat. And then you'll feel yourself getting a little bit dry-eyed, like, why am I feeling dry-eyed? Check your core. And take a deep breath. And walk it out. All right, there you go. Your core is your body's engine for proper circulation to the brain and throughout. Now let's All right. Basically, there at the end. I was just saying. Now let's get back to the video. Apparently, the Wi-Fi froze on that side, but anyhow, you get the gist of it. Okay, you get the gist of it right there. So yes, Chris, absolutely, the core is what, right? The upper and the lower body, and so it makes better sense that when you've got control of your core, you've got better balance. And for those of you who, let's say, for example, this is where the muscle memory comes in. And myself and many others are living testimonies to this. Because I was getting there in the store earlier, and I heard my ANS, and I was like, Ma! I went, what? Stand up right. Anywho, so we kind of, it's like muscle memory. And it's like, and then it gets to where you don't even think about it when you get back into working out, when you haven't worked out in a while. So you want to remember that if you are just now starting out again, after, let's say, you've taken a few months, life took a turn. It happens to all of us, a season for everything. Okay. And so for whatever reason, and you just, you weren't able to get the workouts in that you would like to have, circumstances took place, what have you, it doesn't matter. Now you're ready to get back into exercising again. That's my tip that I have for you all, to retrain your ANS. Tell yourself to focus on the core, and you will feel, I'm telling you, tried and true, you will feel your stomach muscles start to come together. That muscle memory kicks in. Your ANS remembers, oh, that's another part of my responsibility. Your ANS is responsible for a lot of things in the background. Okay? Proper muscle function, digestion. Oh my gosh. So many things. And I've known that, but so did my late grandfather, because that's in his book. Talk about the subconscious mind and how it's responsible for so many different activities simultaneously, really. Well, that's what the ANS does. And remember, the ANS operates subconsciously. But now we're aware of it. And so we go, hey, our thoughts control it. So when we sit there and repeat, okay, it's repetition. Focus on the core, focus on the core, focus on the core, because that's what I did. And all of a sudden, boom, muscle memory kicks in. And then you just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And before you know it, before you know it, you're going to have, everything's going to be back where it's supposed to be. You won't have to say focus on the core anymore. Your ANS will just automatically, every time you move, your ANS will know, oh, I got to do this. Right? You will automatically know, because your ANS will do it for you. You don't have to think about it. But see, that's the thing. The devil and his narcissists love to do that. Remember, think about all the salt and other chemicals and nonsense that's in today's foods. This is why we like to go all natural where possible. I'm not saying that we don't get, if our inner child has a craving, I'm not saying we don't get the occasional maybe goldfish cracker, but she only gets a little handful at a time. That's it. She knows it too. All right. So, yeah. Thank you, Chris. And yeah, absolutely, because balance and coordination is in the core. And right, okay, balance from the core is what they teach in Tai Chi. Okay, well, I'm not surprised, because it's true. Because without locus of control of your core, without being aware of, okay, that's what balances things out. And that also helps to prevent unnecessary pulling of muscle in areas of the body. Because you've got it together here, you stay balanced, then you're able to go, okay, I'm going to pick this up, but I'm going to pick this up with both and your thigh, not your back. We were taught that years ago. Oh my gosh. And oh my gosh. I don't know. I somewhere in high school maybe, or maybe when I got in the workforce, or it might have been my dad. I honestly cannot remember, but I just remember being told that if you're going to pick a box up, let's say it's 20 pounds, we can handle that. They said, make sure that when you pick it up, I've known this for years. I'm not stupid. Don't pick it up with your back. You pick it up with your thighs. Pick it up with your thighs, and then, right? But you do not use the back to pick stuff up. A lot of people, apparently there must be a lot of people that weren't taught that, but I'm grateful that I was, and I'm grateful that many of you were, because you don't pick things up with your back. You pick it up with your thighs, your thigh muscles. So, of course, if the enemy is going to attack, he's going to attack the very things that we need to properly lift things, to properly stretch, and to properly walk. He's going to target areas of the body that he knows are easy to disconnect from the core in that way. And then we realize, oh, hold on a second. Once we start getting on this better diet and healthier living and paying closer attention to, oh, hold on a minute. Yeah. So you want to keep that in mind. So if any of you are wondering why you might be feeling a little weird in some ways or whatever, check that core. Where's that core at? You know how we talk about God? God is looking at the heart. Where's that heart at? Well, when it comes to your health and how you're feeling, so where's that core at? Because you will know, you will feel. Like right now, I can feel my stomach muscles coming together. I feel my ANS. It's like, ooh, we got this. Because I got this. See how we moving? We're balanced. Because my core, I got control of it. Right? We're not just all wobbly. Right? No. And we're not off balance. So that's what I say. Where's that core at? Yeah, a feeling that you're coming apart somehow. Yeah, if it starts to feel that way, boy, I mean, that means you seriously need to get control of your core. Seriously. Now, provided there's not anything else going on, I mean, you have to take that into consideration too. But now, if you have that feeling that you might be coming apart, like a rubbery type feeling, also check your B vitamin intake. Seriously. Because I will tell you from experience that when I was not getting enough B vitamin, like a B vitamin complex, like you can go and find, if you don't have a multivitamin that has it in it, you can find a B complex, like 50 milligrams. That's what I recommend. Try that out. There's 25 milligrams too, but I think 50 is a good rate, especially if you're feeling rubbery because you're not getting your B vitamin. Because you're going to need those B vitamins to get control of your core. So yeah, teaches us to pay attention to the details of our autonomic nervous system. Now, well, yeah, because we're aware of it now. Once we become aware of our inner child and how he or she is responding to certain things around us, like, oh, it's like I had to tell her again this morning. I said, hey, girl, you better get used to expecting the unexpected again. Okay? Expect the unexpected, because this world is crazy. I mean, this world is crazy. There you go. Overall body awareness. Absolutely. It's a must-have as part of the combat against radio frequency, because if you don't have that sense of body awareness as to how it's responding to certain things, and like how you're moving, like how are you responding, how are you moving, how are you know what I'm saying? That's why we say if you're detoxing to be very mindful of how you're moving. Because you don't know yet until you get to that last layer. You're like, okay, but still, gotta be gentle with yourself at the same time. But that heightened awareness is a must-have for combating that radio frequency. But if you are an avid workout person or exerciser and hadn't been able to in some time, just remember your muscle memory is still there. It's going to remember. Oh, yeah, it's going to remember. You see? That wasn't there last month. It don't take long. I'm going to tell you, remember, God hastens things on his time. It's only been 3 days. Okay, 3 days with the weights. It doesn't take long. Muscle memory is there. So when you say focus on the core, you used to exercise a lot. So you knew about that, right? Focus on the core, and you're working that core as you're doing the exercises, as you're walking, jogging, whatever. You're focused on keeping that core, not just for toning, but for balance, right? And circulation. It'll come back to you after you, okay. And it won't take long. And after a few days, maybe 5 days or so, whatever, it shouldn't take long for it just to, your ANS to take on over, and you won't have to say it no more. That's how quick God works. And so you got to have that body awareness to know that you need to do that. And so here's the other tip, the and more for you all, because it's all part of combating that radio frequency. Again, like I said, having that fruit and veggie tray on hand at all times for snacks. Okay, yes, you can have a little bit of ranch dressing or whatever your favorite, but a little bit at a time. Don't be like, you know what I'm saying. Don't put ranch all over that broccoli. No, just a little dip at a time. Celery, carrots, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, strawberries. I mean, you name it. You have peaches, apple. I got apple in there too. Grapefruit. I mean, my goodness. Bananas. I got bananas. That goes in my protein shake. So it does take dedication, though. It takes focus. It takes dedication. I'm not saying that you won't want to probably go, I really would like to have a handful of those cheddar cheese goldfish crackers. Okay, but you know what? Keep it to a minimum. You can reward yourself, absolutely, but no more than just a palmful. That should satisfy you. Because we're not trying to please the flesh in God's reality. But you do want to kill a craving, because if you have a craving, that's your inner child talking. And your inner child has a craving, you want to go ahead and just enough. See, chosen ones, our ANS knows when enough is enough. So if I get a little handful of those, my ANS is, I got a craving. My ANS is like, okay, I'm like, fine. We'll give her a reward. But then we're good after that. And then I might go like a whole week or two before wanting any more. So that's the point there. In moderation. Just a little bit. Okay, we're not urging or encouraging. There you go. We're not encouraging anybody to go all out on a bunch of junk food. I don't consider goldfish crackers necessarily junk food. Okay, I don't, because they are a good source of, a decent source of carbohydrates. But they're a lot healthier than some other snacks out there, in my opinion. So there you go. And then regular saltine crackers with unsalted tops. I mean, things like that. It's just a matter of, because you could put peanut butter on those as a snack. Hello, healthier than a lot of stuff out there. Make your own trail mix. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think so too. Better than just junk food. Like, it really depends on what we consider junk food, though, too, doesn't it? I mean, you have to. Well, I'll tell you, these little, anything that has like cakes or a bunch of sugars and sweetness, I consider that junk. Yeah, I consider that junk. And I have never been real big on desserts. That's just kind of been a thing of mine for a majority of my life. Yeah, growing up when I was younger, I would go for a piece of pie or a piece of cake or some ice cream after dinner, but I outgrew that pretty quick. And so I've never really been huge on that kind of stuff anyway. I'm not saying I didn't splurge every once in a while throughout my life, but it was just not a go-to for me. Like, I didn't have to have it. And I still don't. Even when God, we took the limitations off God and are now using the blood type diet as merely a guide. I remember going over to the bakery section because I was looking for some dinner rolls. And I was like, yeah, I'm looking at all these, and it dawned on me because I was like, oh my gosh, I could actually eat that stuff again if I wanted to. But I was like, I don't want to. It's full of sugars, added sugars, and no, I don't need it. I don't need it. If I want anything kind of sweet, okay, if I do, then I'm going to go and get me one of them Quest protein chocolate cookies, protein cookie. Because they used the stevia extract. Stevia, it's like an all natural, kind of a similar to cane sugar, but not exactly the same. But it's better for you than like artificial sweeteners and stuff. So if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to make sure I get some protein. I'm going to make sure I get something out of it. And I got one of them chocolate chip Quest protein cookies in my basket right now, but I don't need it right now. I don't want it right now. But that's what I'll go for because I was like, I know I do have a liking for chocolate every once in a while, but it's just not that often. And I would tell you, I had the peanut butter peanut butter protein cookie, and it really was not that sweet. It was all right. I said, okay, 15 grams of protein in a little cookie, and it was not overly sweet. There's no added sugar in it. I made sure I read the label at the vitamin shop. Store, I read the label. And so that's the kind of thing I'll go for. I'm looking for protein, and I'm looking for, the sodium's not my favorite count in that particular thing. However, I don't eat the whole thing in one setting. That's the thing. So I'm not going to eat it. If I'm lucky enough, I'll eat a quarter of it because I'll get the taste and I'm good for a little while. Put the rest in the baggie and save it for another day. So I do consider, I have some potato chips up there in the cupboard because my ANS would never mind. My inner child there. But we only eat a few at a time. But I'm talking to her today about that. We're making the trail mix, and I'm talking to her about that today. I said, I'm going to tell you that those potato chips up there, that's not going to be a habit, if at all. I said that may be the last time we do that, because I'd rather see us doing this. I want that trail mix, the nut and the raisins and the cranberry, the dried fruits. Okay, that's what I'd rather be snacking on. That's my preference, Mama's preference. Inner child gonna have to come around. I said, okay, you can have your goldfish every once in a while, but you're gonna have to. Yeah, but see, she liked pistachios and cashews, so we're good. Yeah, y'all, I am adding a little humor here. We got to, but I mean, it's real. It's our inner child, man. Never thought that I'd be a parent, but oh well. Okay. But there you go. As the devil and his narcissists continue to target our health, we make the right choices, better choices, and fight back against that. And that's exactly what we're doing. Well, there you go. Yeah, trail mix, absolutely. The nuts. And not only that, I want y'all to realize something. I learned that the nuts and seeds are excellent sources of zinc, copper, manganese, potassium, and other essential nutrients that are. So when I realized that radio frequency symptoms are blamed on food, boy, that changed my whole perspective on the blood type diet. I'm not knocking it. It does work. And I said I'm using it for a guide now. Just simply a guide. So, okay. But as far as things that I know that are healthy foods, I didn't realize I was depriving my body of a lot of stuff food-wise by avoiding certain nuts and seeds and things that I never used to and never had a problem with before. So, yeah, I had to think about that for a while and then started going, okay. And the Heavenly Father told me, he said, I need you to put some things back in your diet for healthier living. And let me tell you something, it's not a coincidence. For those of you who have not heard this yet, when God told me to put wheat bread back in my diet, I was stunned. Because I was like, okay. Because he reminded me of some things. And it's not a coincidence that 24 hours after doing that, I had a stubborn bruise that just was like, it was just not wanting to go nowhere. Within 24 hours after eating some wheat, putting it back in my diet, that thing started to break up. Not a coincidence. Listen to God. When he tells us to do something, we better do it. He knows what's best for us. Okay, just one problem with being a parent to your inner child. If you have to send your inner child to bed early, you have to go with them. Well then, Chris, thank you. Yeah. Because if you have to tell your inner child no, that means you got to tell yourself no. Absolutely. Oh, good. That's nice. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. And I want to thank everybody for giving this video a thumbs up. And thank you all for joining this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. We are iron sharpening iron here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. And listen, that's what it's all about. And combating radio frequency, it's a movement. I know it might feel like a war, like we're like, but no, we're just making better choices. And the devil and his flying monkey narcissist can't do a dang thing about it. Because, right, that's right. It's our time, chosen one. It's our time. Yes, it's our time. Absolutely. And so when we realize that God gives us free will, right? So there you go, to make better choices for healthier living. That's what it's all about. And so I want to thank everybody, all right, for all that you have sown into the ministry and all that you will. We have more coming for you. Thank you for your patience as we keep on keeping on going forward. And you're going to hear probably tidbits of this elsewhere as well as we expand more on it, because it's better to get a more well-rounded understanding of another part of the spiritual battle, and that is the battle not just for our mind but for our health. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health. So when you say mental health, that falls right in line with psychological health. So same thing. And so it is a full-on battle, but it's all spiritual. Whereas the devil thinks it's physical. That's why he targets our health. He wants us dependent on the big P, dependent on man. So yes, thank you. And system that produces RF, it feels that the RF system is at war with us. Yeah, you could say that. We're not at war with it. It's at war with us. Just like these narcissists think the battle we're in is physical, but we know it's spiritual. So same concept. Yeah, I get you. All right. So yes, you are very welcome. And you all are very much appreciated. All right. If we don't say it enough, there you go. You are very much appreciated. Prayers always to all of you and yours to keep on keeping on. And get that awareness. Let's continue getting this heightened awareness in God's reality that he needs us to have. Not just about the devil and stuff, but about us. That body awareness also is part of that heightened awareness. And we continue to make better choices. Walking and living by faith. Glory be to God. All right, everybody. So enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are at. And we will see you next time. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching and listening and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.